Good morning to you. It's 8 o'clock on the start of a Thursday. Thank you so much for being with us. We certainly appreciate you as we approach the weekend. We are one day closer to Friday. What could be bad about that?
I know. Happy Thursday, everybody.
When you think about the weekend and you think about the weather yesterday, then you think about today, we're kind of like riding this roller coaster, the undulation, if you will.
Did you get out and enjoy yesterday?
Oh, wasn't it gorgeous?
I loved it. We took our dog on a nice big walk. He got to see one of his favorite neighbors who he hasn't gotten to see because she told me she hibernates. And I thought that was so funny. But it was so beautiful and so many people were out.
Yeah, and Shonda actually brings up a really good point this morning. And before we begin, we should probably note that a lot of people may not necessarily be able to join today because there's that outage, that cell phone outage affecting so many different carriers across the country. AT&T in particular, a lot of people are just pissed this morning.
So, and here's the thing. If it's happening to you, you're annoyed. And
Right.
then if it's not, nobody really recognizes that it's happening. Because at first, we heard about this outage and our producer's like, well, I have this, and it's fine. So it's not everybody with all these different services, which is kind of what's interesting.
My Apple Watch isn't working, which is driving me crazy. Ordinarily, it like calls all this information about the weather, and for whatever reason, it just isn't right now, and it's driving me nuts. Not that I only rely on my Apple products for the weather. Of course, I go straight to the source with our chief meteorologist here.
I was going to say, I've got a place you could go to find the forecast if you're interested.
Where, Katie?
The next room.
Oh, okay. Duly noted. But
Really noted.
even still, Anita, I don't even know, and I use AT&T exactly.
Yeah, Parker's Pit says phone out of service. Parker's Pit phone works. So.
There you go. Peter, good morning to you. Once again, love the orange, just like the yellow. The other day matches Ed and Katie. Personality. I appreciate it. You know, speaking of bright personalities, there is one person who I would love to welcome back to Second Cup. You met her a couple of months ago. I think you were off.
Yeah. She played the role of Katie.
She was a guest co-host
Thank
that day. Trinetta Alston. She is a community nurse at the Community Health Center of Buffalo, and she is the focus of our Changemaker 716 half-hour episode that airs tonight at 7 right here on Channel 7 and our WKBW. Let's welcome Trinetta! Trinetta is here with us. T, good morning to you. So glad that you're with us.
Good morning.
Trinetta, you've got an amazing story, and for the folks who are just joining for the first time or meeting you for the first time, tell us about you and how you got to where you are.
Ooh, I knew not to wear makeup today. So I'm a LPN, a graduate RN student at the Community Health Center of Buffalo. My road here was not easy. 19 years ago, I was addicted to crack cocaine. I found out that I was pregnant, 4 months pregnant, 4 years into being homeless. So I went to Cornerstone Manor, and it's a shelter. It was on Carlton Street, and decided to get help and clean myself up because my son didn't deserve to come here with a problem that wasn't his. I prayed over it and got myself clean. My son is 19 now. He's finishing his freshman year at St. Bonaventure. But through all of that, I wanted to figure out what it was I wanted to do with my life. I didn't want to be remembered as this girl who was on drugs and homeless. So I prayed and I asked God to allow me to do something that can give back love that was shown to me, and went to CNA school, graduated from there. I was a CNA for some time, but then that wasn't enough. So I went to LPN school, graduated from there, worked with small children in their homes on vents, trachs, and G-tubes. And then I came here to the Community Health Center, and my CEO, Dr. Lavana Ansari, she would push me to do more. I mean, I never thought I would go back to school for my RN because I thought I wasn't smart enough. But she pushes me. She continues to push me. And now I'm here. I'm a vaccine coordinator. I'm a Medicaid certified doula. I'm our COVID nurse. I'm our community nurse. I go into homes of people, our patients with end-stage cancer, and take care of them until they transition on. I'm my church nurse. I'm just what I need to be on the days that I need to be it.
And that's what we love about you, Trinetta. You are an amazing person, and you have come full circle. And I was talking with you last night, and what you were telling me was that you thought people were going to take your story and use it against you. And this is like a second chance that you've now taken yourself from one spot and you've created yourself all over again.
Yeah, I mean, some people can be cruel, you know what I mean? They hear your story and they only can pick the bad out of it. And for a long time, that held me back. But I have to look at it like, God has blessed me. That's the only thing that I can say. He has blessed me to be able to turn myself around and walk with me through all my trials and tribulations so that I can be a beacon for my community now in this position that I hold on this platform. Regardless to what cards you are dealt, it's how you play your hand. You know what I mean? And then you can change. You can be and do whatever it is you want to do.
Nurse T, you're getting a lot of comments about your story. Megan says you're amazing. Anita says, so proud of you. You have so much to offer. Shirley says, blessings to all who are recovered. It wasn't easy. So I want to ask you too, because when you were mentioning all the things that you're doing now, it sounds like you are meeting people where they are. It sounds like you are going to them. Like, people don't have to say, hey, I need this, I need to come to you. You're going to them. And what is the significance of being able to meet people where they are to give them the help that they need?
Well, first of all, with COVID, COVID brought out a lot of things. A lot of people don't go to the doctors, right? A lot of people don't know who to talk to. So being able to go out in the community, it doesn't matter if there are patients or what. I just get to be around everybody, and it's like you never know who you're going to run into. Just yesterday, I was at an event over at one of our locations. We're opening on Monroe, and it was a young lady there who was tabling for the company she works for. And I got a call from the manager after I left and asked, can I come back? I'm like, sure. So I came back, and me and her, we were sitting there talking, and she was telling me her story about how, she's young, didn't know what she wanted to do. She's in nursing. She will be the first in her family to actually go into the medical field. And like, she felt like she had no support, no mentorship, no guidance. And then she started talking to me about tabling for our company. And I'm like, there are reasons why we cross people paths in life. So by the end of our conversation, it's like, I gave her my cell phone number and I told her, I'm going to talk to, the people here so that she can bring what she does here. And I also told her that, nursing school is not going to be easy, but now me and her are connected. I will mentor her. I will help her study, and I will help her get to where it is she want to be. We can't do anything by ourselves. We cannot. And whoever out here claims they did, no, we need each other, regardless to color of skin, where you live, where you came from, your background. We need each other to pull each other up.
Don't you feel that way too? And I was telling Trinetta yesterday when I was on the phone with her, I'm one of those people who truly believes in paying it forward and bringing people up who may not necessarily be able to do it on their own, because so many people have done that for me.
Yep.
And I think of my career. I'm sure that you have the same thing.
Mhm.
You know, there are people who have guided and mentored and really made sure that we are in the right places at the right times, saying
Mhm.
our names in those rooms behind closed doors.
Yep.
And that's what she's doing.
Yeah. And you know,
Right.
Patty is right. She says it takes a village for sure. Anita says we need each other.
Right.
Kim says exactly. We all need each other.
And Trinetta,
Right.
the one thing that I think is so special about you is that you are so willing to give of yourself to help the community that's helped you. And I love that about you.
Well, I mean, in my life, there are people who gave to me before they gave to themselves. You know what I mean? And this is, again, this is what we are supposed to do. You know what I mean? We are not supposed to walk by somebody in need and not help them. You know, if what kind of person are you to be able to do something like that? You have to remember that we are all a step away from where whoever we turned our back on is. We
Right.
wouldn't want it done to us. So why do it to anybody else? It does not cost you anything to show kindness to somebody.
So Yvonne is with us this morning. Yvonne, good morning to you. So glad that you're saying this. She says, people like Nurse T are hard to come by. Bless you in everything you do. So that was my mission. After the Top Smash shooting, we had these conversations, these Buffalo Strong conversations about what is wrong in our society when it comes to racism that we experience here in Western New York, Buffalo alone, and Western New York as a whole. But in the year after those conversations, I'm like, okay, well, who is out there and who's really trying to fight that, and who's trying to make society better?
Because
So-
that's what you have to look for, because there are so many negative
Right.
things in this world, right? We
Mhm.
think of just about social media, for example,
Mhm.
you know, not only the day-to-day interactions we have with everybody, you know, maybe in the public, but like, let's say a social media interaction, you know, we were talking the one day about how comments can get so difficult,
Yeah.
and, you know, and we have to highlight these people who are doing good.
So Mr. Rogers said, find the helpers. And, you know, when I heard Trinetta's story, I was like, who is this woman? And I was dead set on finding her.
She laughs at yours.
So, I mean, that's the essence of tonight's conversation with Trinetta. And she's going to detail her story, how she's helping in the year after 5/14, and what's next, and how she's breaking stereotypes. And Trinetta, you got a sneak peek of it yesterday. What would you tell somebody who can watch tonight?
Oh, you need Kleenex. You definitely need some Kleenex. I mean, it's the way your Channel 7 just presents it. I'm still in awe, right? I've like watched it about 5-6 times. I sent it to my son in Arizona because he can't get our channel, so him and his wife and my grandbabies can watch it, and it's like I'm still in awe. I mean, to see my story in a positive light, and like, because I really don't, my oldest daughter tells me all the time, I really do not understand what an impact I have on people. To me, I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do. You know what I mean? And it's like, I'm not doing it for accolades. I mean, I'm like I am on and off of a camera. This is just me. And like, I'm just in awe. I mean, I love y'all so much at Channel 7. It's
Mwah.
So sweet.
We love you too. So somebody Kim was asking tonight, what time? So you can watch right here on Channel 7 and our WKBW app at 7 p.m. Now, John Marrero, the producer here, Johnny, my boy, is going to drop a link in the comments so that you can get a peek ahead of time. We posted the entire episode on WKBW.com. You can watch it right now. It is inspiring, it's humbling, and it's just good,
Yeah.
satisfying conversation.
Trinetta, thank you for sharing your story with us. And I think maybe today, everyone who's here on Second Cup, let's just take a little piece of what she does, and I'll try to do something good today.
That's what it's all about,
Like,
celebrating
wouldn't
the
that be
community.
great if then
Okay.
tomorrow we could come together on Second Cup and say, hey, I did this or I did that? Not that we need to brag, but wouldn't it be nice to just say, hey, I did something nice for someone else today?
Yeah, followed in Trinetta's footsteps. She says she could.
A little piece of Miss T.
Yeah, she said she could plant the footsteps in the sand, and then there'll be many more around her. Right, T?
Ah, love.
Right, right.
Love it. Love
Thanks,
you. Thank you so much for being with us. You're the best.
Thank y'all.
All right.
Y'all have
So
a
again,
blessed
that's
day.
tonight. You too.
Too.
So that's tonight at 7 on Channel 7. And John just put the link to Nurse T's full episode, Changemaker 716, in the comments. I invite you to check it out. I walked away feeling so good after speaking with Trinetta. And after hearing from her this morning, I guarantee you that you'll be doing the same.
Doesn't it make you be like, oh, thank God there's people like that out there?
Yeah, I mean, because
Because
we've got
she's-
people like you and
Oh, Edward, my goodness. We've got people watching on Instagram too. Reflections Hair Design saying right now, a most amazing woman. God continue to bless her as she continues her journey.
she's fabulous.
Love.
I mean, do you realize what she's been able to do? I mean, she took herself from rock bottom and is now helping the people who are at
Mhm.
their rock bottom.
And she did it, let's be real, she did it thinking about other people because she did it thinking about her baby,
Right.
which is amazing.
I just love her. I just absolutely think the world of her. And I'm telling you, after I was done talking with Trinetta, and this is something I've been working on since July.
Yeah, this has been a long time coming.
I have just been in awe of her because she is truly just an inspiration. You've got to watch this. Della says, Ed and you and Katie are hilarious.
Oh, Julie, we have pairing comedians. Like, okay, everybody. He's
And
so funny. Marguerite wanted to know the comment that you made about my dress earlier too, because she missed it.
Oh, okay. So a couple of weeks ago, you were wearing this one dress, and it looked like something from like colonial times. And remember, I was talking about that.
Yeah, so we were at the History Museum this morning, and it was like something from the 1800s, and Ed was like, Katie's outfit. I was like, oh my God. And then he says it as Adam's in his live shot. So Adam's like doing stuff, and then it comes back out to the two of us, like right after he said it. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm laughing. This is dumb. It's always something here, you guys.
Barbara says, thank you for sharing her story with the world.
So sweet.
It is my honor. And honestly, it is a privilege to be able to meet people like that in the community. And that's what it's all about.
She's great. Sometimes you meet people and you're like I've got a story that's going to come on
Yes.
next week. And I said the same thing to Ed. I was like, I went out and did this interview and I cried on the way home.
But don't you?
I'm like, people are looking at me down the highway on a Saturday crying in the Channel 7 car. Like, what is wrong with her?
It's like when you met the county
was it?
executive at the gas station.
That was a bad cry. This was a good cry. It had nothing to do with the county executive. It's like me having a bad day.
Paula says that you guys have a great job. Yeah, so like the one thing about our station compared to others, and I'm not trying to toot our own horn, I'm just literally giving you the facts. Like the two of us are out there in the community all the time. And we're meeting people like Trinetta. We're meeting people like these two dads with a great story.
Yeah.
And the inspiring stories, I think, are what get me through, personally speaking and professionally.
And the thing is too that like you have to find stuff that you like to do in this business. You know what I mean? Like you kind of find like your little bit of a niche, and you kind of find like stories that you love to tell.
Yeah.
And I think that that's like what keeps you going.
Mm-hmm. And after what our community saw, in 2022, it's like,
how about a little positivity? Like let's highlight the good,
people.
the good, the people, all those good things. Okay.
Kelly says they have a great friendship. That's huge at work. We do have a great. Oh my gosh! Wait a second. Trinetta told me the funniest story.
What?
Oh my gosh! This was hysterical. She called me the other day and she goes, Ed, I have the funniest story. I was at work and this lady who was, she's, I guess, cleaning the building. She goes, I saw you on Channel 7, but those two, that girl and that guy, are they married?
Oh dear.
And then she goes, that's the last thing, Trinetta said, that's the last thing Ed needs, to be married to a woman.
I was going to say, but I said to be married to Katie. A woman works. Yes. No, that's accurate. That would not work.
So funny. No, gay is the day is long. And also, we're both married to other people, but that's besides the point.
That's beside the point, though, everyone. That is funny. God, when we first started, we got those questions all the time.
Well, it's also
Remember?
because I love you and I adore you.
Were you dating? Are you married? Is he this? And then we both came up with like separate lines. I forget. What did you say when you would say something when people asked if we were married? My favorite line was to say, "I can do better." I thought that was so funny. People would look at me like, you know what? But then I was like, it's
God.
funny. He thinks it's funny too.
I'd say, absolutely not.
That's a funny line.
God, no. Anita says, I love Second Cup. I laugh, I cry. That's what it's all about, people.
God. Okay. All right. We have got to talk about this disgusting story. Okay. If you were watching this morning, you heard this story. We were talking about our reusable water bottles. And frankly, I think about our coffee cups, like the kind of stuff that you bring around every single day. How many germs and bacteria are on these things? And it turns out they are disgusting. They've got more bacteria on average than your average toilet seat.
That's disgusting.
On like our reusable water bottles that we're dragging around and drinking out of.
More germs than what's in your pet's bowl.
More than on your computer mouse.
Yeah.
So like, not that I'm advocating for anyone to do this, but in theory, what this is saying is you could lick your computer mouse and come to contact with fewer germs than taking a drink out of your water bottle.
So we just got these brand new coffee mugs. Finish the coffee that's in there. I haven't washed it once.
That is gross.
I washed it, but when I first got it, put the sticker on it, you could still see my lip imprints. I'm like, I'm just drinking black coffee. Why would I want to? What do I need to wash it for?
I wash mine every day, but I use creamer in my coffee, and you don't. So, like, I do feel like the creamer makes me need to wash it.
Yeah.
I don't put it through the dishwasher. I just wash it in the sink here.
Taylor, washing mine now. BRB.
I know, honest to God.
But then Jeanette says, when I see dust in my cup, I'm thinking, what is this?
Okay, see, Paula runs hers through the dishwasher. That's a good idea.
Now, do you have a Stanley? Do you ever clean the straw?
I told you what I have.
A family.
I call it a family because it's a fake Stanley. I got it in Marshall's. The straw is hard to clean.
Right.
So I do have one of those straw cleaner things, but I don't.
It's like a pipe cleaner, isn't it?
In the butt to take it out. So what I do is I just like dawn the outside of it and throw some on the inside and just run it under the hot water.
Okay, I guess that makes sense.
To do something, right?
You know, I was watching something on Instagram yesterday about how like Orthodox Jews keep kosher.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was watching this story about how an Orthodox couple was at an Airbnb, but they couldn't eat in the kitchen because it wasn't kosher.
Mm-hmm.
They had to bring somebody in to make it kosher. And what they did was use heat. They had to sterilize everything using heat and water to a very certain temperature. But what it was doing was basically sterilizing everything.
Yeah.
And you should have seen what came out from like under the stove and like in the little nooks and crannies. It's disgusting.
I'm sure it's disgusting. So I brought Bandit in yesterday from a big walk, like I said.
Mm-hmm.
And
did he stink?
No, but I wiped his muddy paws because they were muddy.
Yeah,
it's
sure.
gross out there right now. And like I'm wiping, and I get the one end of the towel wet, and then I do the dry. And I mean, I get as much as I can, but I don't do, some people have that thing that you actually put their feet into and you turn it.
Whatever.
And so like I literally finished it. I got as much off as I could. And I go, now I know where the floor is disgusting. Like,
well, and what are you going to do?
What am I going to mop the floor every day?
No. Or get like one of those Roomba vacuums.
And we have that and it does its job, but it's not going to like.
No, it is what it is. Anita says, my dog comes in with mud boots. Corrine, live by Clorox. Your mom is so funny. Have the special thing in the dishwasher for water bottles that shoots water right into it.
They got a new dishwasher, and you put the thing here, and it like can shoot up into your water.
So is it kind of like what a bar would have?
Yeah. Well, that's what it looks like, but it's in the dishwasher. Like you shut the dishwasher, and it does it during the cycle.
Now let me ask you this question. I mean, that's what a bar is doing, right? They're like dunking it in the soapy water, then they're pushing it on top of that water thing. Do you think that's actually clean?
I don't know, you guys. I think we got to go by what my grandma said.
Need a pound of dirt before you die.
Got to eat a pound of dirt before you die. Listen, I'm not a germaphobe, or I am. I'm sorry, I am a germaphobe, but like for actual germs. Does that make sense? Like if someone is sick, I'm wiping stuff down.
Yes.
If I know people are sick, I'm wiping, I'm cleaning, I'm washing my hands. If something falls on the floor,
are you picking it up and eating it?
it depends. Where am I?
5-second rule.
Like here, probably not. At my house,
Maybe.
probably if the dog doesn't get to it first.
Thank you. So that's my whole, like, I don't know, like a carrot falls on the floor, something wet, I'm probably not.
Yeah, no, that's gross because then it gets,
Yeah, like all the hair and stuff.
An M&M falls on the floor, I'm probably eating it. Like I am.
Diane says, just think about how good your immune system is at this point.
Well, and that is the one thing that you like have to think, because I think about little kids all the time because they're like little germ balls, but like you have to get sick when you're little, because then you have to like get, you don't want to be really ill as an adult, right? So you catch these little colds, you get all this stuff, and then that's what everybody says, like when they go preschool, kindergarten, daycare,
Yeah, I mean, that's where they pick up everything,
And then
right?
sometimes you don't catch it from them because you've already had it.
Or you get it worse.
That happens. That was me at Christmas.
I know. Poor guy. Poor girl.
Ah,
Listen, we got to get the show on the road. Don't forget, tonight at 7, Channel 7 or WKBW.com. Make sure you're watching Trinetta Story. You're going to be so happy you did. Feel so good right after.
see you tomorrow for Friday.